For our pocket page layout, we're going to be using these really cute photos of my kids at the play gym. And I want to keep this very much an introductory level pocket page. So I'm not going to be trimming my pictures down into smaller sizes or shapes. I'm going to keep this very simple. Now, I think I'm going to use a Design A pocket page, which looks like this. It has two places for 4x6 photos at the top and the bottom in landscape or sideways, and then it has 4 spots for 3x4 photos in portrait. This is the most popular style of pocket page that I've seen used, and I do understand why. The landscape photos, generally if you turn your phone, most people use their phone to take pictures now. If you turn your phone sideways to take a picture, it's because you're trying to get more detail in the picture. So those are largely going to be the ones you want to be in larger size. Whereas if you're taking a photo straight on, up and down, more likely it's a closer up shot that you can crop down to a smaller size. So I already know how to set up my photos for a Design A because it is the one that I use most often. I have tried a few others, but this is generally the one that I prefer. Now, these photos do tell a bit of a story, and I've arranged them this way on purpose. My twins are playing on the trampoline. Sophia is on the trampoline, and then Sophia came over to the floor and started lining up these balls. And of course, her sister, being the clever little monkey she is, came over and started wrecking it immediately, because that's how twins work. Now, there is a lot of color in this layout. There's a lot of color in these pictures, so I've chosen to do a variety of pocket cards that have those colors in them, but we're going to try to keep this fairly neutral and simple in its design because we don't want to detract from our photos. We want the photos to tell the story, and we will add some journaling, but we want to make sure that we're not taking away too much attention with our embellishments. So I'm going to play around with these cards here. I think what I'd like to do is make this part of the title card up here. Maybe put this pink one here. This is my son and his friend that came with us. And I like that. Now we need a background for this card up here. And the papers that I have left to work with are right here. I have this little piece of a floral, which I think is a little too busy for this layout. I have a white with dashes on one side. That could work. On the other side is this pretty blue scallop, which I think doesn't quite work with that card. So that's maybe on the white. Or we could bring in some more of the pink and make a little pop of color up there. Let's see. I'm thinking that pink is just a little too much, so we're going to go with this white. And that's just going to allow the photos to really take the lead on the page. Yep, I think that works quite nicely. Now this card lines are going this way, and it's kind of bothering me to have lines going this way and this way on this card. So I may not use this. May just stick with that. So we need this to be a 4x6. Let's see how wide it is already. It's not quite 6 inches, so we're going to measure 6 inches this direction. Here we are. And 4 inches this direction. I'm going to turn my T-square ruler around because I want this side of the card. Now because this has these lines, it's going to be fairly easy to see where I need to cut. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. There we go. Alrighty, so now we have a title card, we have our journaling cards, and now this is a 4x6 spot, but I have these two pieces here, a 3x4 card and a 3x4 photo, which are going to fill this spot. And I will just attach these to the back of the previous page so they will stay put. There will be a photo behind them facing the other direction, and I'll just attach these to the back of that so they won't go anywhere. So now we've got our basic cards chosen. That's really the tough part, to be honest. And I think I want to bring in some of this fringe because this is a really fun little layout of my kids playing. So why not bring in a little bit of fun embellishment? I do really like this fringe. It's rather fun to play with. I think I'm going to cut off a 6-inch section of that. Right about there. And maybe even a second layer with this white. Thinking to put it above. Pink, kind of like this. Right here. Okay, that'll create a nice little texture on that card, a little interest on that very plain white card. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my title. My title is just simply going to be, let's see what words I can spell here. The name of this gem is called Connection. So let me see if I can spell connection. C-O-N-X-I-O-N. I've only got one N. Let's try G-Y-M for gym. Could do maybe do play gym or no P's. This is the tricky part at the end of the kit, y'all. Trying to use up your alphas. Let's try. We could do F-U-N. We could do something fun. Let's do that. Let's do N. And these aren't going to stick very well, so I probably can pull that back up if I need to. Especially this one, because it lost its adhesive piece. We've got fun. We could do do gym fun. Let's think about that for a while. How about that? Or we could do fun at the gym and use these little alphas for at the. Oh. My fringe has gone wild. I do like clever titles, but not every title can be clever. It's just the way it is. Okay. There we go. Then we can just do A-T. Love these tiny puffy letters. They're so much fun to play with. Okay. And an E. Okay, so we have fun at the gym. We'll glue those down in just a minute, but that's just a good place to get started. Okay, now this card here in the center, I do want to leave a little bit of space for journaling, but I also want to decorate a little bit, and I grab this little scrap here. That's the back of that card here, and I want to cut out a little tag. So I'm just going to freehand cut out a rectangle. And if I need to trim it up a little bit, that's okay. But just getting the shape cut is a good place to start. Okay, so now making a tag is the easy embellishment ever, I promise you. All you have to do, snip, snip, you have a tag. Now if you'd like to, you could poke a hole in here. We could do that with our scissors. Put a little piece of ribbon inside. Okay. I'm just going to cut out a small hole. You're not really going to be able to see much of this hole once I get the ribbon inside. So it's okay if it's a little raggedy. Alrighty. I'm going to grab a piece of our ribbon. We're going to cut down a little, just a little strip to add to our tag. Okay. Cutting off those stray fibers. There we are. I'm going to tape that down to keep those ribbon pieces in place. Alright, and so now we've got that, and it's going to give us a place to add some journaling, and possibly we could do something else. I like this little cassette. I think it's cute. I don't know how well it ties in with anything, but it is cute. So maybe I'll pop that behind. Yeah, books don't match. Books don't go. I think I'll pop that behind my tag. And you know, if I do my journaling on this bottom tag, I think perhaps this one can just be decorative. So let's see. If I do that, that's just decorative. Then I could put the little tape on top, because they were playing music during their little playtime. Let's see. I still want to tuck that behind. Yep, I think so. And I've got words. I've got a couple of labels left. I could pull this guy in, something like that. Got a few different words here. Got a little chipboard banner piece. A couple more of those. Okay. So maybe we could do something down here with the little banner pieces. Little corner piece maybe. Or maybe on a photo. Maybe that would be better on a photo. How about this one? Just add those up at the top. Maybe on this side. Trying not to have one poking into my daughter's heads. So maybe like this. That's a possibility. Let's leave that there and think about that. I often do that, especially with pocket pages, is just kind of try things out. And I find that that's very helpful in giving you an idea of what you want to do. I like the idea of putting this little tag here, maybe stamping on that. I think I'm going to use this hopeful right here, maybe up here. And because that was hopeful of her to think that that was going to stay in a line with Sassy Sister, and we'll use this be kind down here. That makes sense, I think. And then on this card down here, I definitely want to put my journaling. Absolutely think that's where it needs to go. I have quite a bit to say about this particular little trip. So, can we use this floral? Kind of like that there. I might cut it down though. I like to cut a lot of the borders off of my ephemera, just because I think they cluster better that way. You don't have to cut off all of the border, but I do like to chop it down just a little, because I find if I'm trying to add it to a cluster of other things, that if there's big white borders around everything, they all stand out too much. They don't blend together in a little cohesive embellishment. So there we go. I think I'm going to add this right there. Kind of like the way that looks. So this has become a very decorative card. This will be our journaling card. It already has lines on it, which is very, very good for journaling. I do think I want some sort of a title at the top of this card. Perhaps I could add that, or I could stamp directly into this little box. But to make that little box a little bit more title-like, I'm going to go ahead and just draw in a little outline, little border around that box. I could be using my T-square ruler and that would be quite intelligent, but I'm not. So let's get out our stamp and see what we can put on here. Highlights would be cool, but it's way too big. So let's do, we could do very simply today. Doesn't quite fit in there either. How about, well, here's a today. That one will fit. Alrighty, so we're just gonna go ahead and get our impromptu stamp block, the old T-square ruler, and our ink, and stamp away. Okay, so that stamp actually said today I, so I am going to put underneath played. Today I played. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start taping all of this down and add my journaling, and then we'll come back and add our tiny embellishments and we'll be done. Okay, so got everything glued into place, got my journaling added in, and I've added my date on this one here. A couple of things I wanted to do for fine details this time, a little bit different. On this particular stamp set, there are two small icons. One is a circle, one is a triangle. And so what I'm thinking is, just for something a little different, I am going to do those as my detail embellishments. I'm going to put them right next to each other on my T-square ruler. Pull out my ink, and I'm just going to add them in a couple of places for a fun little extra something. Especially on this card down here that's otherwise kind of boring. Like there's not a whole lot going on with that card. Add this up here. And then we'll add our sequins in as well, but I thought it would be fun to just do a couple of stamps with these shapes. Just to do a little something different. I do want you to notice that I only added the thicker chipboard pieces to the 4x6 photo and card. This one here, I actually stripped off a layer of that piece of chipboard so it's not as tall as this one. Also with the puffy stickers. I did that because the 3x4 spots in the page protector tend to be a little tight, and the 4x6 tend to have a little extra room. So if you're going to put dimensional things on your Project Live pocket pages, it's better to do those in the 4x6 spots rather than the 3x4s. Now we're just going to add in some sequins. So I'm going to just kind of randomly pick some and put them down to create little clusters of 3. When you're decorating your layout, you might add 3 in a cluster, or you might add 3 clusters around the page. However you want to do it, you might add 5 clusters. But odd numbers are definitely more interesting to our eye than even numbers. So that's what I'm doing. Now I will say that this is a very quick and easy way to scrap a lot of photos. And that's one of the things that I have come to like about Pocket Pages, is that I can get a lot of photos on this 12x12 spot that I could not do on a regular 12 by 12 layout. I would have great difficulty in putting 2 4 by 6s and 4 3 by 4s onto a layout. That is for sure. But with a pocket page, I can do that. With minimal embellishing, this page is done, and I've added a ton of photos to my photo album. A lot of people like to use Project Life, which is a pocket page spread for each week. Now, I choose to do monthly, but most people do weekly, and they create 2 of these pocket pages with photos of everyday moments throughout their week. So that is something else that you might want to look into if you're interested in pocket pages. If you're not interested in pocket pages and you're just watching, that's perfectly fine. You do not have to do them. This is just another type of scrapbooking, so I thought I would include it in our videos. So now this pocket page is just about done. I kind of feel like it needs something else right here, so maybe a stamp. How about that beautiful highlights, but that would be overlapping this ephemera piece and might be a bit tricky. Could do currently. We could do today or words I love. That might be fun. We're going to use words I love. Stick that to our T-square ruler. Remember, I'm removing the sticky from my stamp, my brand new stamp. And that'll give us a nice little something extra on that tag, because it just looked like didn't have quite enough. There we go. So this layout is done. I hope you have enjoyed this project. We will move on to our last project, which is a traveler's notebook. That is another style of scrapbooking that uses the inserts like this one that came in our Lola kit. And if you did not get the Lola kit, these inserts are extremely inexpensive, though I do recommend a stitched binding instead of stapled. I do prefer stitching along here. Gives a little more wiggle room when you're adding in your layouts. So let's get started on the traveler's notebook.